Hi, guys, and welcome to the podcast. Today is going to be incredibly exciting for a number of reasons. One is that this is the first time that our group has, on the Daebak podcast, has gotten together in 2 years. So obviously, we thought that the podcast was dead, but it's been resurrected and we're super excited. And the impetus for this was Faith from Accidental Kiss podcast speaking to me about doing a collaboration to talk about Marry My Husband and Marry My Husband Japan. So this is like so awesome. And I'm so glad that we get to be together today.
Yay!
Yay.
In addition to Faith, I'm being joined by Melanie, actually, Melanie, how do you want to be introduced now? Because you've kind of gone on hiatus with your stuff.
Well, I just put up two more videos on. I have a YouTube channel called Pardesi Reviews where I review Indian films, but I had been on hiatus for like 6 months, and I just put out a couple videos when the big holiday movies came out in August. But yeah, I'm much more spending my time watching K-dramas, J-dramas, Chinese dramas, and Taiwanese dramas than I am watching Indian films these days.
And Katherine, are you still? I don't know if are you still blind? What are you doing when we don't chat?
Well,
we chat every day practically, but like
our Malayalam movie podcast is on hiatus too, and we keep talking about reviving it, but people have been sick and had babies, and it's been, but we plan to get back to it. But I'm still writing it totally filmy.
Okay.
Old school. I'm writing.
Awesome. No, that's great. We really love writing. So, and we have a very special guest who's also basically a podcast member at this point, who is RK and who is most active, I guess, on Blue Sky at this point.
Yeah, unlike the others, I don't have a drama or film specific podcast. I do dabble a little bit in a history podcast, but that is also currently on hiatus because, as it turns out, real life is kind of real. So, yeah.
Yes.
But really happy that we're doing this again.
Yes. So like now we're going to get into it, and we're going to be discussing Marry My Husband and Marry My Husband Japan, which are two adaptations of essentially the same source material. The Korean version is an adaptation of a web novel, and the Japanese version is an adaptation of a webtoon, but both by the same author, and both are essentially the same plot. There's a little bit of differences between the two, but not that many. And the K-drama version came out first. It came out in 2024. And it was produced by Studio Dragon, which is the biggest production house in Korea. And even though they've produced things like The Glory, Crash Landing on You, Queen of Tears, My Mister, so they're like a powerhouse in the K-drama industry. But I don't think they had a lot of faith in this particular project. Because when I started looking through like the background on this, the director and the writer on this, on Marry My Husband, were both really newbies. They didn't have many credits, like maybe 3 credits between them. And the director is Park Won-guk and the writer is Shin Yu-dam. And it stars Park Min-young, who's a huge star, and you would think, well, they'd want to invest money in this project. But she had an enormous scandal right before the drama started filming. And I think because of that, they didn't kill the project, but they kind of like, well, we're not going to stick too much money in this. But it turned out they were wrong because it was a monster hit. And it, at its peak in Korea, had a 12% nationwide rating, which is really good, and also ranked #1 on Prime Video in 67 countries. So
Yeah,
it kind of came out of nowhere. And in addition to Park Min-young, it also starred Na-nu, who's not like a big, again, not a big star, not somebody that people really know as the male lead. And then Lee Kyung, sorry about that, who plays the husband. and who's, I guess, best known for Welcome to Waikiki before he did Marry My Husband. And then finally, Song Ha-yoon, who really wasn't known for much either until she broke out with Marry My Husband Korea. So
she killed it, though. She killed it. She was very good.
She was amazing. Yeah, she was so good. Yeah. And we're going to get into like diving into like the different versions, but so that's what happened with the Korean version. But interestingly enough, before the Korean version was started to be produced, they had already started production on the Japanese version. However, they didn't actually start filming it until after the Korean version was done. So I don't know what happened to delay the production, but by the time they got around to producing it, they already knew that they had a hit property, right? So Studio Dragon produced it, but as a Japanese drama, which is really interesting to have a Korean production house produce a Japanese drama. And the director was Ahn Gil Ho, who directed The Glory and Happiness and a lot of other stuff. And he's a very well-known director, a very competent director, which I think shows in the drama. And we'll talk about that. But the writer is somebody named Oshima Satomi, who wrote a drama called 1 Liter of Tears. And it's like considered...
I know that one. Yeah, I watched that back in college. Yeah.
I know. I keep it's on my watch list, but I keep not watching because it's sad. It's
sad. It is sad. It is very sad.
It's about a teenager dying of a neurological disease. Yes. And so I don't need to really put that in my head right now. So I've avoided it. But supposedly it's supposed to be incredible. So for the Japanese version, Studio Dragon pulled in some really powerhouse writer and director for it. And then also with the cast, because all of the cast members are very well known in Japan. You have Koshiba Fuka, who's been in a lot of dramas. She's the leading lady. And then, but the male lead is very interesting because it's Satoh Kateru, who is a huge star. And Faith, you can't see this, but Faith is shaking back and forth going, yeah, because we love him and he's awesome. And he's a huge star. I mean, he's been in a lot of films. He's in this action series called Rurouni Kenshin. And And so, and he's got a very long career in a broad range of projects. Yeah, he's been acting since he was a teenager. So unlike the Korean version where they basically had almost a no name, he wasn't a complete no name, but like close to a no name in the male lead. They pulled in a movie star for their male lead. And then you have the other two actors, Yokoyama who plays the husband, and he's actually a well-known idol. And he's been in a group called Super 8. And he's 44. What is his skincare regimen?
He does not look it. Oh, I'm surprised by that. I did not know that. He does not look it.
Okay, they uglify him so much.
Yeah, they try to make him look worse.
And I was like, when I heard he was an idol, I was like, say what now?
No, what? They do try to make him look worse, but I don't know. I think
he looks like a doofus through the whole thing.
He is a bit of doofy. It's true, but
that's kind of his persona.
That's his character, right?
That's his character because he's well known on variety shows in Japan, and also the idol culture is really different. Yeah, that could be a whole other episode. But like they don't prioritize the visuals in the same way in Japan.
No, not as excessively as Korea. No.
So, but nevertheless, his skin is incredible.
Yes,
he doesn't.
I mean, he looks so young.
Like, God bless his dermatologist.
I thought he was like in his 20s or something. I was like.
and then finally the best friend, the evil best friend, is played by Shiraishi, who is again somebody who's really well known, but I had never seen her in a villain role before, and so I was like, whoa.
Actually, Alisa, did you watch some of the Yu Hakusho live action
which
series?
One?
So that was the one with I think, was it Machida Keita was in it? He plays a character. Okay. Because I remember we talked about it because you wanted to watch it because he was in it.
Oh, I haven't seen it then. I haven't because that's not ringing a bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she was in that as well. Yeah. Which I did not actually recognize her. because she was such a different
Oh, wait, no,
character.
she was in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes, yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. That's what I'm saying. Yu Yu
Right,
Hakusho.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. No, I
Yeah.
have seen it.
Yes.
And yeah, she's the female lead.
She
And
played the female lead in that. And she's so like nice and like courageous. And so she was so different that I didn't even notice it was her. And then I went back and looked at her credits. I was like, oh my God, that's the same woman. Like,
yeah,
she's
she
so
looks
different
totally different. The performance is totally different. So
Before
anyway,
we get into a deep dive of the two, I just want to also mention that there's a Chinese version of this story that's out on Viki. It's called Her Trajectory, and I couldn't make it through the whole thing, but I just have to note that it is my most favorite Viki translation self-name ever. Shirts are for losers, not lovers. And that will tell you everything you need to know about the drama. Oh, it has really bad wigs. And instead of being in an office, they're at some kind of like music idol kind of like it's really strange that some of the changes that they made to the story, but it's not great. And I just couldn't
it's not an official adaptation. It's just basically them hopping on the bandwagon.
That happens a lot.
It wasn't a Studio Dragon thing, but the reason why is because they had another hit with the Japanese version. It was ranked #1 in Japan. It was number 9 on the Prime Global Top 10 list, and it was in the top 10 in 26 countries. So it did really well, which for a Japanese drama is remarkable.
Oh, yes.
Japanese dramas don't do the numbers that Korean dramas do, not even close. So for it to do that well says something about it. And also, I mean, was widely, almost everything you see online is that it was better.
Yeah.
Like way better. Oh, everybody's like, oh my God, it's the superior production.
That's so rare. That's so rare.
Incredible. Yeah, I know you never hear that.
We should mention.
Well, I think that says something about the Korean version too.
I mean,
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. The Korean version is 16 episodes. We should mention of the normal long K-drama length, and the Japanese drama only has 10 episodes.
Yes.
So they have
typical J-drama. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they have gotten rid of some of the characters, which again, and edited things down to the essence of certain things, which makes it better.
Yes.
I also want to say that the shorter length of the J-drama kind of convinced me that if there's going to be a crossover of a K-drama plot with like a Bollywood movie, this is the one to do it with.
Oh, what a good idea. I like that.
Because I kind of feel like that whole concept of, like karmic retribution and not time travel really, but getting a do-over would be something that would really be relatable to Indian audiences.
Shanti Om right there.
We need to like contact Studio Dragon.
Full masala blockbuster, but it would work.
Okay,
so any of you have any influence with Bollywood production houses?
No, I do not have that, unfortunately. But actually, this kind of ties into a question I wanted to ask you all anyway. Like, do you think this will be remade? Well, I guess it is already with the Chinese version, but do you think other countries are going to hop on this bandwagon? Because
100%. There's going to be a Thai version. I know
There's going to be like
a matter of time.
There's going to be like an American version at some point.
Oh my God. Oh no.
And it will be bad, but it will be an American version. So
I need to look that up because now I'm starting to think there is going to be an American version of it. I have to look it up.
Oh
no. Now we'll find out. I'll do some research and find out. But anyway, so like Faith and I think Melanie too watched it when it was airing, right?
Yeah.
And so what did you guys think, like, when you watched it the first time? For the Korean version, yeah.
I mean, other people in this podcast are not fans of Park Bin-young, but I do really enjoy her. So Katherine is laughing at me. Okay. But I do enjoy her. I do enjoy, like, her snarky looks at things. And so in the moment when it was happening, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the male lead was kind of adorable. And I do love kind of time travel kind of stories. It got crazy towards the end of the drama. I just finished rewatching it. And let me just tell you, it just suffers in comparison after having watched the Japanese version and then going back. Now, there's still some things that I will say are better about the Korean version, namely the actor that plays the husband, who, again, as we just talked about, he's normally known for comedic roles like Welcome to Waikiki. That's all I knew him, zany. And like here he was like playing this abusive husband, turning on a dime, being, vicious and violent. And so he was truly scary because he sort of had that, I don't know, just, like you got sucked in sort of the same way that she got sucked in, right? Like, oh, he's just goofy. He's just, a little bit stupid, and then all of a sudden he's got her by the throat or whatever. Like it seemed to turn on the dime in the same way. So I found the whole time travel part of it charming. So I was obsessed and watching it week to week the first time. But oh my God, the Japanese version. We'll get to that in a minute.
I think, like Melanie, I watched it when it aired, and I think one of the reasons I really enjoyed the Korean version when I first watched it was because, you know what, revenge dramas are kind of fun in their own way. Like, which one of us doesn't want to go to our high school reunion and be like better and more successful than all the mean girls, right? Like, we want that for ourselves. And I think in that sense, it's a great self-insert, but I think it suffers not only by comparison, but it does not stand up very well to a second watch. Like, I think some of the plot holes become bigger when you watch it with a little more analytical bent instead of just watching it for fun. But there were so many little things I loved about the Korean version. Like, that brand Authentique does not exist in real life. So they made all this PPL for a brand that doesn't exist. And then after the drama, a company that exists in a completely different market space actually started making the earrings because they took off after the drama. But I thought that was hilarious, and I loved that whole earring sequence. And I was even a little sad that there wasn't something similar in the Japanese version. But
it probably was. My guess is they had real PPL and a sponsor pulled out.
Oh, could be, but it was just so hilarious, and I just loved the idea that they had to make up a company that made designer shirts and earrings and everything. It was just so cool.
It's funny, though, because I watched it live, too, and I wasn't going to watch it because I actually don't like revenge dramas very much, and it's just not. I actually did go to my high school reunion 10 years later, and it was like, all the people who bullied me were just people. It was a weird experience. I'm glad I had that experience because I was like, wow, we were all really young and stupid. And now they're just normal human beings. And it's like, no big deal. And that was my experience. So that's why I don't have this thing of, if I could only get back at everybody who ever did me wrong. But I saw people on Twitter talking about it when I was on Twitter, and they looked like they were having so much fun. And I would watch the first episode and went, wait a minute, this is actually really fun. And so I did enjoy it, but however, had I not been watching it online with everybody else, I wouldn't have finished it. I would have dropped it after episode 13 for sure. It just really, that was when. So I'm going to say now we're starting spoilers. Wait, let me start. We're going to start spoilers now. That's a mark of our podcast. We always spoil stuff because we do deep dives. So
mine too. Always spoil.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So if you don't want to get spoiled, now's your time to turn this off and go watch it. All right. So in episode 13 is when the male lead drives a car in front of a truck to stop it from hitting her. And it was so freaking stupid. And it just went out of control after that. And
his ex-fiance just goes completely crazy. And it's just like.
And it just really got. And on the other thing that bothered me too is I felt like the revenge got really ugly after a certain point where I just felt like, wow, I don't root for these people anymore. It's gotten, they're acting like villains, but I'm supposed to root for them because they're, so I don't know. It really, where they weren't just like, she wasn't just trying to avoid her fate. She was actively shoving someone in front of a moving vehicle, basically.
Well, not only that, I mean, he's also plotting for the death of his ex-fiance too, right? Like,
yes,
to substitute for his death. So
it was bad. It got really ugly. And in the first place, I didn't think about it until I rewatched it. But the fact that she was plotting to transfer her fate to her best friend in the Korean version is really problematic because in the Korean version, her friend isn't the one who kills her.
Yeah, exactly. That bothered me so much. Like, so for me, I started watching the K-drama when it was airing, but I didn't actually finish it. And so I came back to it after I had watched most of the J-drama already, the J-drama version. And so going back to it, I was like, whoa, this pacing is all over the place. wow, these main characters are kind of bad. Like they're not like these are the good guys. Like it's like, are we the villains? Like, you know, like it was just like I was like seeing how like just how vicious and malicious they were actually was like kind of off-putting to me, because like in the Japanese version it's like you kind of understand because Reina is the one who kills Misa, right? And so you understand a little bit more. Whereas I was watching the Korean version, I was like, is Sue mean? I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, she's got a lot of issues, but I'm like, is she that bad actually? Like, I don't know.
She's a malicious friend, but does that mean she deserves to be murdered by her husband?
Exactly, yeah.
And the fact that if Ji-won's plans had gone smoothly the way she wanted them to, Min-won would have murdered Sumin and gotten away, and not had any consequences for what he had done.
Yeah,
which is, when you think like, whoa, you know, it just really. And and just like a lot of the behavior. And I know, Katherine, I think you had a lot to say about this point, if I recall.
Did you watch it at all when it was watching, or you avoided it until we forced you to watch it?
No, because as you mentioned, I am very much not a Pang Min-young fan. And if you are, she's probably very delicious in this for you. But yeah, I had kind of parked it. I had a smidge of interest because of Lee Kyung, and in part because he's on a variety show with Yoo Jae-suk, and they would be out in public, and this was during the time this was filming, and people would be yelling at him on the street, "You are so terrible!" And I was really intrigued by the impact he was making in that role, but not intrigued enough to actually watch. And it was when Alisa decided we should do this that I went and watched it. And I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to. I think there's an interesting skeleton to it. And I think what happens is the Japanese version takes that skeleton and for me made it much more interesting.
Yeah.
And part of the thing they did better was in sort of the moral core of what was going on. Like by the time we get to the point where our leads are actively trying to kill characters, I had a lot of sympathy for the villains at that point. And I felt very confused because I thought I'm not supposed to have sympathy for these people because they are terrible human beings. But do terrible human beings deserve? But then I was like, but he killed her. But like, it was really messing with my head, and I didn't appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And I really loved in the Japanese version that for the female lead, there's more introspection. She's aware that this is changing her moral compass, and she's uncomfortable with that. And we mentioned that in our chat earlier, the point where she appears on the bridge when Watashi is he is going to kill the husband and himself, but he's taking this, and she does not want this to happen. She doesn't, because at that point she fully understands the implications of becoming the kind of people that hurt her, and she doesn't want to be like that. Like I was so relieved at that, to be honest. At that you can approach, getting your do-over and making it better, making your second chance at life better without becoming like the people who hurt you in the first place.
Right.
I think too, there's a fundamental difference between the way the K-drama writing and the J-drama writing approach that central character. In the K-drama, she's basically perfect already, right? She's pretty, she's competent, she's smart, and the only thing that's wrong with her is these two toxic people who are in her life. So if she can just get away from them and stick them where they belong, then everything about her life will be perfect. And that's what happens. So there's never an opportunity for her to work on herself, to think about, what am I? What do I want to be? But in the J-drama, not only is she not perfect, but the others have her pegged more or less right. So in the original timeline, when she's about to die, her husband tells her, hey, your only utility to me was that you were frugal and hardworking, but you're kind of a wet blanket. And he's not wrong. And Reina says, hey, listen, you spent so much time absorbed with yourself that you never looked around and saw, and you complained all the time, and you were such a whiner, and you never thought once about any of us, right? It was all about you. So here you have this very sympathetic character. She's dying. You want to be on her side, but also you're like, okay, maybe she's not perfect. And then the first time she encounters Wataru, he says that to her. He says, you're naive and you're constantly like, hey, woe is me, everybody pity me, but what the heck are you doing? Like, look at yourself, you know?
Yeah, he says
do something with yourself. And I think that's so great because she appreciates her do-over way more than Ji-won in the K-drama does, because her first thought is, oh my God, I'm alive. Let me go out and eat spicy noodles.
Yes,
and
I love that part so much.
Before, and it's only after that she's like, oh, well, what do I do now? Whereas
I love that part.
Pamignon's character kind of runs away from the whole redo at first, and then she warms to it only when she realizes, oh, there's a scope for revenge. I can fix it and get back at these people who hurt me. But I am a little curious about something. When they're little, Reina lies to Misa about who her parents are, right? And for the next 15 years, Misa never questions this.
Yeah, that is weird, right?
Is this a cultural thing, or
but
is it
no, they
supposed to
address
signal
that,
to
though.
you, the viewer, the fact that Misa is in fact a little tiny bit self-absorbed, and so she's never really drilled down and thought about, what is it my friend is going through? Should I pay attention to her, or is it all about me? And is that the thing that, obviously Reina is a bit of a sociopath and has other problems related to being abandoned by her family and wanting someone who's never going to leave her side if she can help it in Misa, but it also kind of suggests that Misa's not paying attention until the redo.
Because you say in the confrontation scene in the last episode when they're in the Ferris wheel, essentially Misa admits it. She was like, I hate you, and I've hated you a long time, and yet I never did anything about it. And I mean, if you hate somebody, you're not going to like take a tender interest in their family life, you know. So I actually love that they made Misa flawed. I mean, I think that's so amazing, you know, and her flaws are very relatable.
Yes.
She's not evil, but I think it's the kind, and Faith, I want you to talk about this because I was like really so thought-provoking. We spoke last night and about how women are socialized.
Yeah, so I was just talking about how I just thought it was very interesting because, you know, we're kind of socialized to be more ladylike, to be more friendly, right? To be nurturing, caring. And so when you are a woman who has a lot of anger, like a lot of like rage, you know, like a Reina character, you can't really just be angry all the time, right? Because then you're not ladylike and that's not acceptable society. And so you have to kind of mask it under this kind of fake niceness where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm here for you. But then you just do a lot of vile things behind their back, right? Like that's like kind of how women are able to like get power or get like, you know, like feel like, okay, I'm releasing this anger, right? And so I just thought it was very interesting because I feel like both of the characters feel like they have to be this good girl, right? Like both of them, I think, have to like put on, even though I think Misa is a good person, I think she also feels like, okay, I can't say no to people because that would be me not being a good girl, right? That would be me going against what I should do, right? And so I feel like, you know, dealing with that and showing like, okay, no, like you need to stand up for yourself. You need to say, no, I'm not gonna like, you know, have these people around me. You're not gonna walk all over me. Like that's a lesson that she learns, and I'm glad that they teach that because I feel like, especially in like, I mean, every society, but especially in Japanese society, that is a big problem, especially with women, where they just kind of let everyone just bulldoze over them because I gotta be a lady, gotta be, you know, meek, right. And you know.
But I think that speaks to Misa not ever like questioning.
Yeah,
Reina, because she didn't care to.
No, yeah. Also, I'm glad they showed that.
Stupid, but like, yeah. So she was actually a crappy friend.
Yeah,
but, like, they were both crappy friends to each other, not equally crappy, right? I mean, there's grade 8.
It was definitely worse.
But you know, and I just really loved that the Japanese version went there. But that is though we were gonna like very Japanese.
Yes.
to have a flawed main character. They don't usually go for perfect.
No, they love them they loved him to be flawed. Now in the early 2000s, it was them being clumsy and messy or like kind of ditzy or whatever. But I think nowadays they give them a little more depth. Like it feels like they really feel like full fleshed out humans who are flawed and relatable.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Why I love the J-drama more, because I felt like these were much more, instead of caricatures, these were more fully fleshed out humans, as we've just said, with flaws. And I loved that the journey was not just revenge, but that our female lead was really going through introspection and healing herself and making herself better in order to stand up for herself. And in contrast, the K-drama has our male lead who, like, okay, he overhears a few things at a funeral, but somehow he knows every minutia of her life in order to know when to, like a crazy stalker, to rescue her at every moment, right? Like, instead of it all coming from her growth, it's like, okay, I mean, it's very K-drama, right? We just have this male lead, and that's how he's showing his love by constantly rescuing her and beating up her husband and whatever, like beating up the bad guys, or putting himself in the path of a truck, like, this is how I show my love. And I love the journey of our female lead in the Japanese drama. That is one of the things I just adored about it. And while the male lead is there and is supporting her, he's not taking over her journey, right? He is there to support her, but he is not taking over and swooping in at every moment to rescue her.
And it's really impressive because Satoh Takeru is a huge star. He's a bigger star than Koshiba.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And so the fact that they cast this giant star as the male lead, and yet he never overshadows her. He doesn't take over the narrative. And in his scenes with her, he's very low key. Like, he's never overwhelming her in their dialogues. And so, like the K-drama version is very patriarchal in a way. I mean, like, even though I have a stronger word than like for the husband in the Korean version. I think that he was so overwhelming in a way, like so evil, so that he kind of dominated the story in a way. And like, it's hard to explain, but like, yeah. And so it overshadowed the journey of both the female leads in a way, like these two men, and to a certain extent. And so it just, that's why, Mel, I hear what you're saying about liking him better than the Japanese husband, because it's a better performance for
sure. But he does way more. He's just way more active than the Japanese.
But in the context of the stories that were being told, it made sense to have the husband in the Japanese version not be so dominant, because then it gave room, and it also centered the conflict on the two women. The conflict, and the men are kind of peripheral to that.
I mean, but in one sense, he was in the Japanese version, he was such a doofus with such a bad haircut that I'm like, what the ever-loving hell did you ever see in this stupid guy? Like, seriously. Like, you thought so, I mean, I guess that's
she did. It is. She did. She had very low self-esteem.
She thought so little of herself that she thought, this is the best that I can do.
This is so true, though. Like, come on, there's definitely women like that, right?
No, for sure.
Really are just like, this is the best I can do.
One thing I found really interesting about the husband character in the Japanese version was, by the end, he has sort of accepted that in this sort of closed loop of fate that they're all dealing with, he has a very specific role to fill. And he almost willingly goes to his death, so to speak, because he understands that's his part. And there's remorse there. Yeah. There's this sense of needing to apologize to Misa for what he's put her through. There's a realization, and then sort of ending of, okay, yeah, I get it. This is the role I need to take so that you can go on with whatever you need to do with the rest of this, right? Yeah. Whereas in the K-drama version, there's never a sense of remorse. There's no point at which Pang Min-won ever realizes that he was in the wrong. He's like, I deserve all of these good things, and I deserve to keep having them happen to me. And if it's not this woman, it'll be another woman. And so he just keeps moving on from one sort of toxic relationship to another because he thinks he deserves to win, basically.
They're a mama's boy in both dramas.
Yes.
But
but at least in the Japanese version, he's a mama's boy who finally gets it. Right?
Yes. He has some remorse.
never gets it, and he goes to his death never having got it. And honestly, I think I was very put off by our leads turning into basically stone cold killers in the Korean version, because that is not what I expected. But that doesn't mean that character did not deserve the end he met. He absolutely did. He earned that particular end. I thought Yi Kyung was just fantastic in the role. He blew everybody else out of the water, including the two leads. But I think that's just the way that part was written versus how that part is written in the J drama, where he's kind of, he's a goofball. He's
kind of passive.
He's easily manipulated by the people around him. He's greedy. He's wasteful. He doesn't have a basic understanding of how the world works. But towards the end, like even when he first gets married to Misa, there's this very strong sense of, oh shit, what have I done? Right? Like I should have just stuck it out with Misa, even if all of this was going on.
When he gets married to Reina.
Some of it is his desire for money, but I also think in the back of his mind there's the sense that, I did her wrong. I did her dirty. I should fix that.
He has actual regret.
He doesn't even plan the insurance scam.
No, it's mother. His mother does it. So it's really, it's like all the active characters in the J drama are women, pretty much. All of the really major players in the J drama are women, whereas in the K drama, it's like the men. Like Sumin, like she does do stuff towards the end, but like she's kind of there for some episodes.
Yeah, like
I remember she's not doing anything. Yeah, she's just kind of there. I thought she was going to be a lot more active, and I was like, oh, what happened? And I felt really bad for her because I was like, she's not even doing anything, and she's getting caught up in this.
Yeah. Right, she got dragged into this like horrible team,
but who has no ulterior motive beyond I want whatever Jiwon has.
Yes.
So if Jiwon has a pretty dress, I have to have one too. She has a boyfriend, I have to have one too. So there isn't this sort of overarching goal. Whereas I think Reina has spent a lot more time thinking about why she's doing the things she's doing, and what she's doing is she's trying to isolate Misa from other people who could potentially love her, right?
Yes.
To the point where she kind of tries to take Misa's husband away from her, because she's like, okay, if I isolate you, then you will always be more miserable than me, and you will be trapped with me forever. Whereas, Jung Sumin doesn't seem to want anything more than just to see Jiwon unhappy. That's it. So there's no ulterior motive, and because of that, she's not an active participant in half the things that are happening around her.
No,
which
I'm
is
not
weird
even
to
sure
me.
she really wants her unhappy. It's more
to
like
the extent. I don't think so.
Yeah, Sumin is more like has no boundaries. It's like literally like Jiwon is not a separate person from her in her mind.
Yeah, her phone is my other half.
My other half.
Too,
and
so
when Jiwon starts to have agency and starts to do things separate from Sumin basically spirals out, which, to be fair, is another really common toxic female dynamic between friends. And so I have to give the K-drama credit for capturing that, because it definitely, we've all seen it. And people like that, where they have no boundaries with their friends, and it's really bad. But
I just wanted to say, I noticed when, like, how different the two characters were, Reina and Sumin, were when they got married. Because, like, when Reina got married to Tomoya, the husband in the Japanese version, she immediately, after they get married, a little bit after they get married, is pretty much like, oh, let's, like, when they move into the new fancy apartment that, like, Misa bought for him, she's immediately is like, oh, let's call Misa so she can help us move, so she can help us like do stuff. She's already trying to get her to come and like do stuff for them immediately, because like without Misa there, it's like there's no point, right? Whereas Sumin, actually, after she gets married, she does try to kind of move on and be like, okay, well, this is my family now, let's see what I can do with this. She does kind of try to separate a little bit from Jiwon. So that's what I noticed. These are completely different characters.
I mean, for one thing, like, I don't know if Sumin's not stupid, but she's not smart.
She's definitely smart. She's smart, and like, no, Reina's like a
Evil
mastermind. Like,
Yeah.
Reina is like playing chess, okay? Where Sumin, I think she's smart. Like, she's able to manipulate people very well. She can read people very well. But she's definitely not like calculating every.
Yeah, you feel like she's just instinctually lashing out at every moment.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I also thought I'm gonna have to leave soon, so I just wanted to get my
go
thoughts
ahead.
in before. Both dramas are based on this idea of the closed fate loop, right? Where if something doesn't happen to you, then it has to happen to somebody else. The question that the Japanese version sort of leaves open, but which the K-drama tries to handle in sort of a ham-fisted way, is has Misa herself or has Jiwon herself stolen somebody else's good fate, right? Like, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We just assume that this only impacts the people in her immediate vicinity. But she got to live happily ever after with the rich guy who loves her. What if that was the fate she stole from someone else? Now, the Japanese version kind of leaves that question open. The Korean version kind of tries to deal with it by sticking Naenu's ex-girlfriend or fiance or whatever into the picture and saying, okay, this is the fate that Misa stole, and therefore Misa's terrible fate of dying must automatically go to her, right? And so that's how they handle that question. I was actually glad that that particular scenario did not repeat in the K-drama version, but I'm very interested in this as a general question of dramas about fate and do-overs and all that. Like, where does this go? What is the logical conclusion? In the original timeline, if they don't get arrested, if the husband and the best friend don't get arrested at the funeral, what happens? Do they attempt to be happy together? Can they even be happy together? Are they the ones that end up with the happily ever after that the female lead gets? Like, these are questions that are not answered because the context here is very much what happens to this person, and more importantly to these two people. Like in the J-drama version, there is this lovely idea that the male lead is also allowed his own journey because he's also getting a do-over. And his entire do-over, although in his mind it is about saving Misa, he gets to have his own dreams and ambitions, and at the end he gets to follow through on them, which I thought was great because it made him an actual person instead of just there to somebody who's catching the female lead when she falls, right? Like, he has a purpose beyond just living to ensure that she continues to live, especially once she says, what's the point of all this if you're not around, right?
Yeah.
You get to be a person too. You get to have your own dreams too. So everyone gets a little piece of the future in that do-over, whereas the K-drama is so focused on Ji-won as a character that it doesn't think at all about these other questions. It doesn't care about, what are the 9 new characters' ambitions? Does he have any? Does he exist beyond needing to help Ji-won? And I just want to say one word in Nainu's defense. I like him. Of course, my standards are very low. If a person is tall, I will generally like them. Long legs, good hair, we're good to go. But I've seen him in other things be quite effective. So I think if he seems a little bit kind of passive and not very interesting, that's because the character is written that way. He's never given anything to do but glower at people and be very tall. That's it. That's his entire character arc.
I mean, when they awkwardly kind of, I don't know, start getting together, he is so adorkable, and that was charming to watch those parts again. But you're right, as the drama goes on, you realize when you're contrasting with the Japanese drama how the do-over for the Japanese male lead means that his dream of not just being a business drone to do the family business, but to be able to do this research that he was always interested in, he's able to live that dream. And I absolutely love that. And he just seems more nuanced. I mean, when they introduce him, he's just so kind of cold and mysterious, which definitely is not what the Korean male lead. I don't know, maybe it's just because, like I've seen him in other things, and he just is like, here I am, a walking tall green flag, do with me what you will. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
But I
he's
mean,
done 1,000 from the beginning. He's like, just go, 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 go.
Right. Yeah. Whereas our Japanese male lead, it just always comes off more mysterious. Like, he's not, I mean, we see that he saw her death and he's invested, but we still are kind of like, well, what is his deal? What's, and then when we see the turtle and we're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's very classic, like, he's a very classic tsundere character, and which is, it is a cliche, but he's such a good actor that he infuses that cliche with.
He pulls it off well.
Oh my God, he's
nuance. And
so right before
Yes,
we came on here, I rewatched the monologue he has at the end of episode 5 when Misa is drunk and sleeping and she can't hear him, and he tells her what his dreams are for their future and what he wants to do. And it's a combination of like the writing in that scene is freaking gorgeous. This is where you when you have an outstanding writer, you get this incredible monologue where he talks about COVID and he talks about getting to know each other and what it's going to be. And it's all small things like, we're going to learn each other's favorite books. We're going to go, take Instagram photos, and I'll just have to put up with it because you're going to want to do that even if I don't. And, it's, oh my God, but then you have Satoh Takura delivering it in this unbelievably nuanced way where it's just these little subtle movements of his head and the way he looks down at the table. And his voice is very soft-spoken in that scene, but the emotional intensity just comes through so strongly. And that right there.
Yeah,
like,
his portrayal, you can tell that he is enamored of her, and yet he can't really look at her in the eye. Like there's this, I'm this commanding business person, but yet I'm kind of a little bit shy and awkward too. But but it's so well done. So well done.
So well pitched. And I just want to say, in like all praise to him, the man has so much screen presence. Like,
yes,
he like, maybe the first time you encounter him, you're not sort of blown away by what you're seeing. But then you warm up to that, and then suddenly it's like, I can't take my eyes off of him. Like, yes. Literally, that's what happened. The scene where they're at they've harvested the grapes, and he's showing her what the best way to eat them
the
is.
grapes.
Oh, those grapes looked amazing, by the way.
And I was like, I'm sorry, let me go off and get the smelling salts, because it was just too much. Like, he was so handsome, and it was so well delivered, and he had such screen presence, and I was like, I have to now go off and watch everything he's ever been in, right?
Yes.
Do it.
He's so charismatic, and he's got incredible range too, because like he's best known for this action franchise, and he does most of his own stunts, and oh my God, it's unbelievable, like the sword fighting, but he also brings like emotional depth to that character. He has a tragic backstory and all this stuff. So yeah, that's what you get when you invest in the project, and you get a male lead who can really like blow your hair back. But again, he never takes over a scene that he's in where they're both in a dialogue. Like at very early on, when they're just getting to know each other and they're having their little meetings in the sweet shop. And she's the one who's actually very bubbly and high energy and cute. And then he's just sort of sitting there taking it in. Like you could just see him drinking it in, and he can't bring himself to really look at her, but he's kind of looking to the side, but you know exactly how he feels about her. It's so good. It's so good. And it's really different from Korea. I think you definitely see this kind of male lead much more in a Japanese drama.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. The longing looks. The gazes, and also the introvert romance.
Yes, two introverts are in a romance together.
That's so they love that. They love that.
They do. Well, I love it too. And not for everything, but like, yeah, it's really nice, and they do it incredibly well in this drama.
I want to give a shout out also to our female lead in the Japanese drama. Fuka Koshiba was. She was just a revelation to me. Like, we're talking about the nuances that our male lead gives us, but I also felt like she just gave such a great performance. She just was so captivating. We're seeing this inner journey that she's going through from being this tiny little mouse, right? Like leading up to the scene where, she's confronted with her best friend's pregnancy and whatever. And she just or the scene where she goes to the family meeting all dressed in leather.
Oh, I love that scene so much.
God, I love it so much. So I just you're so invested in her inner journey of growth and how she's changing herself she's changing herself to make her life better, not just making revenge, but making her life better now that she has this new chance. I just love the way that she played this character. I mean, there's so many, kind of cliches of the Japanese female leads of being so self-effacing and mousy and whatever. And I just felt like it wasn't a caricature. It wasn't a stereotype. It's like we were looking at this real young woman going through all of this.
I think a great example of this is, and again, it's a combination of really strong acting and really strong writing, is the reunion scene. And I thought it was really interesting because some people preferred the Korean school reunion scene because Park Min-young comes in dressed like to kill, runway model, blasts everybody, puts everyone on blast, like humiliates Suma, and it's this big, over the top scene. Well, the way it plays out in the Japanese version is so much quieter. And she's scared in that scene, and it comes through like she's not like feeling incredibly empowered necessarily, like it's
realistic.
Much. It is realistic. It takes so much for her to come up with the courage to confront them, and she cries when she's confronting them, which is so relatable. I just really so felt for her in that scene. She wasn't like, oh, I'm such a badass and I'm sticking it to you. It was more like, you people really hurt me.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly painful to this day. Like, she didn't hold back on that pain, and I loved it. I thought it would just made her so much more relatable.
Yeah, and also feels stronger.
And in connection with that, I thought it was really nice that they styled her that way too. Like, it's different from her normal style, so it stands out, but it's also sort of relatable and feels like something she would have done for herself. Whereas Park Min-young's character goes from 0 to 100, right? And there's never like, she's wearing the absolutely most ridiculous clothes to work, like completely work inappropriate. Fashion model,
runway model.
All Misa does is take her own clothes and reject the things that her BFF was dressing her in and just kind of like make it her own. But she's not going out and dropping like thousands of dollars on new clothes and stuff. She's just kind of changing the way she sees herself so that she can dress a little differently.
Which fits her character better.
So nicely done in the J-drama versus the K-drama. And K-dramas are always over the top when it comes to fashion and how they style their female leads and stuff. But
and in the J-drama,
the J-drama so much more relatable.
In the J-drama, she rejects the male lead's attempt to buy expensive clothing for her to go for the vintage because that's what she wants. And it's like, okay, I get that the K-drama is kind of a fantasy for some people, but I'm sorry, when Park Min-young shows up and she's wearing a $15,000 Valentino dress, I'm like, okay. And I guess you were really frugal.
Really frugal.
The other thing is, she gets dressed like a literal Barbie doll by the male lead's sister. Like, they have a really cheesy animated sequence that I died inside watching, where like she has there's multiple
different dresses.
And here's a moment from our sponsors.
I
mean, it was a lot.
It was a lot. And I'm the wrong audience for that because I thought it was ridiculous.
Me too.
I'm sure some people would swoon over it, and it isn't like I hated all her fashion. I definitely didn't. I mean, some of the stuff she wore
looks great.
Was great. Yeah. But it was just more about, like, again, it's Misa saving herself. Like, Misa didn't have somebody else dress her up. She figured out for herself what she wanted to wear, what she liked, and came up with that style change herself.
Agency.
Yeah, exactly. With a little bit of help from the sister, but not like the major makeover. So it just everything about the Japanese version felt so much more grounded.
Yes, that's the right word.
And also, I just want to give it up to Ahn Gil Ho, because he, as we know that when he can do that K-drama polish over the top look, right? I mean, he's done that in many dramas, but he took what he's really good at, but made it Japanese. I'm really impressed. And like, was it him? Was it the producers? I don't know. But like, for one thing, a lot of J-dramas have like a very warm color palette. Like the lighting scheme tends to be more yellow, And I had that in Marry My Husband Japan.
Except for the episode where they're in and it's snow, and
Yeah.
That's the scene where the male lead is going to drive the car off the bridge, and the coloring is very blue-gray filter scale.
Yeah,
and then they gradually bring it back to the warm scale. It was emotionally a perfect change.
Yeah,
if you've watched a lot of dramas from Ahn Gil Ho, though, I feel like his aesthetic was all over this drama. Like, I'm not familiar enough with Japanese drama to talk about color schemes and filters and things like that, but I will say there's a very specific way he likes to frame the leads in a scene when they're talking, when they're interacting with each other. There's a very specific way he frames conflict. One of the dramas that he did where this really stands out, and which has a lot of parallels with Marry My Husband Japan's shot framing, is Memories of the Alhambra. If you ever do kind of a scene by scene comparison, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I feel like his aesthetic was sort of all over this, and I recognized it right away. So at the end of the first episode, when I looked at the credits, I was like, oh, of course, I should have guessed that he directed this, because it looks exactly like what one of his dramas would look like. And in hindsight, I'm kind of wishing he had directed the K-drama version as well, because I think we would have gotten a different framing of the characters than we ended up getting. And
it was very... Yeah, well, you have to help.
I'm gonna drop off. You can edit this out later.
Thank you.
Talking to all of you. I'll catch up later.
All right, see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So, I was gonna say that, what I thought was also very Japanese is like the sets and the interiors are pretty modest. And intimate. I guess that's the word I was looking for. Intimate, like the small restaurant that they meet each other in, and like even his apartment. I mean, he's wealthy, so it's a nice apartment, but it's not palatial, it's like just like a really nice apartment. And you don't really get to see like the extent of the money until like towards the end, when he hides her out in the family house, and then you're like, whoa, that's like a really impressive house. But yeah, that's why I think, even though I'm sure that RK is right in that the shot compositions are very Ahn Gil Ho, but a lot of the visuals are very it's sort of like Japanese dramas, but amped up, like just kind of like punched up about, 30%. Something, where it looks glossy, but it doesn't look artificial. Like they don't skin smooth anybody. They don't whiten anybody in the drama. I particularly noticed that with Satoh because he's naturally tan, and they left him naturally tan.
They let people be tan.
Yeah, tan with a few blemishes on their skin. And I mean, and Koshiba Fuka is gorgeous. I mean, so you don't really need to do anything to her, and I'm glad they didn't, alter her what she looks like, because she's so pretty. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how, and the fashion is very a J-drama. Like people in well, you can since Faith is actually in Japan, but I visited Japan twice, and I was really surprised by how conservatively people dress.
Oh yeah. It's very conservative. Like I know people have an image of Japan based on like anime and stuff, and so they think like, oh, everything's colorful and kind of wild, but no. And there are like fashions, right? Like that are a little bit more out there, but the average Japanese person is going to be very conservatively dressed, usually like long sleeves, sometimes even in the summer. It's very hot in the summer here, but they'll still sometimes have long sleeves on, and like just,
that's what I saw. It was like in the middle of summer, which is indescribably hot and humid. Like unless you've been to Houston or New Orleans in the middle of the summer, you won't understand what it's like in Japan. And women were wearing pantyhose, collars up to the collarbone, long sleeves, hems down to the ankles. So it's so when you see that in a J-drama, that's very much like the average what they person. So she was dressing like a relatable.
Yeah, no, she looks like the average Japanese woman, I would say. Like she dressed pretty much,
I loved the whole origami turtle thing
that was so cute.
from the rappers, and I loved, going back and watching the Korean drama. I loved like the meal kit thing was just kind of there, in the K-drama thing. But I loved how her love of sweets and the J-drama, and that was something that she shared with the male lead, and that they loved these traditional sweets at this particular cafe that they would meet at. And I loved how that was just woven through the drama. Seamlessly. I don't know all the symbolism behind all of that. We had talked a little bit before this recording about like there's a symbolism with the turtles and everything. I didn't get all of that, but I thought it was a sweet change from the, stray kitten of the K-drama that, to add another layer of meaning, that it's a little turtle that she's talking to, that he rescues and whatever. And so
and the oranges.
Oh,
and how when Misa falls to her death, when we see that the first time, all we see is oranges
rolling.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
we don't get that he's brought the oranges and he's seen her death until the oranges fall out of the bag the second time. And I was like, whoa. Whoa. Just that level of care. Like that's my sweet spot. Like, give me that. I'm very happy. Even the little change at the beginning, when Misa takes the taxi, it's during fall. And you get these incredible foliage colors.
Oh, yes,
and you
beautiful.
don't get the cherry blossoms until the end of the drama. God. And isn't it, I mean, it's like fall is like your end of life and spring is the rebirth. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's what they were aiming for, but I was like, oh, it's so pretty.
It's gorgeous.
I also think they integrated the taxi driving father character better in the J-drama.
I think so. I agree.
Yeah.
Also, it was less creepy because, like, in the K-drama version, it's like I sent you a present. Your father, my father sent me a present. He sent you a human being. Like
with the little heart tattoo.
Yeah, with a heart tattoo. That's creepy, guys.
That's weird.
He wasn't upset about it.
What was up with that? That was kind of weird, I think.
I sent you your knight in shining armor with my little mark on him, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, ick, right? I mean, I'm the wrong person. I was like,
me too.
Don't
me
like
too.
that. And,
that was weird.
Because in the Japanese version, he has his own agency in life, that he has his own dreams that he wants to fulfill. It doesn't come across as daddy murdered somebody to send him.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the implications are really scary, actually.
No, it's gross. I was like,
weird.
I don't find that romantic at all.
No.
But the father was so endearing, know. And I love that he comes back at the end. I don't know if you remember that. They drive by him on the road.
Yes, I do remember that. And they stop and they're like, oh, yeah.
Also, and that Wataru was nice to him before he finds out Misa's father.
Our connection. Yeah.
You find, it says something about who he is as a person and his values. And
because he's already helping him out, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit. A lot of K-dramas and J-dramas talk about this catch-22 that women are in, right? And I think both of these dramas really kind of captured that of with the mother-in-law figure, where she's expected as a wife, our female lead, to, in both dramas, to cook, to clean, to do everything, to serve the family and work and bring in an income and have kids and right. And so,
but did the mother work? Did she have a job? I don't remember.
No, she just lorded it over everybody.
Wait, that's not true. Wait, no, didn't she have a job? Didn't she work as an
maybe? Oh yeah, she was an insurance company.
Because she arranges the insurance. You're right, but you never see her. But you never see her working. Like it isn't. Yeah,
I know, and I do think probably. I think probably us as not living, me not living in Korea or Japan and having those expectations, probably the deliciousness of the confrontation of the female lead in both dramas to the mother-in-law and coming to meet the family before the marriage and leather and all of that must have been an extra level of deliciousness, right? Yeah. I mean, like a level of revenge because of just what these women are expected to do, and they're expected to do it all. Why is the Korean birth rate so low, right? Like, come on.
Well, yeah.
And the same in Japan.
too.
Also the same
Japan
problem.
is 20 years ahead of Korea.
Same problem.
Yeah, I know. Um, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but I just want to compare Pang Min-young's performance in that particular scene with Koshiba Fuka's performance because, Pang Min-young was just kind of like, she had this smile, like the same smile on her face throughout. And, she's kind of being a badass and she's got her outfit, but there's no interiority to the performance. There's nothing going on that you get a sense of like what's happening inside. But like with Misa, at first, she is sort of treating it a little bit as a joke, like she's like getting her revenge, but at the same time, it doesn't get serious until the mother insults her parents. And then her face just goes like dead cold. And she's like, hey, old lady, basically is what she's like equivalent to that, right? You don't have parents either. Who are you to look down on me for that? And it comes across as so cutting. And so, because it's really coming from the heart from her, like, it's like, look, lady, you can mess with me, but you start bringing my family into this and that's it. And I just really, it just really, again, it just like, the scenes are almost identical otherwise.
Yeah.
They're written very similarly, but just the actress bringing that energy and the nuance within the scene.
Let me get into trouble with you then. Because
let's go down together, Katherine.
Because I'm famously not a Pang Min-young fan. And the reason is she is always Pang Min-young. I do not see a character. Now, if you are fine with that, and you're fine with her little perkiness, and you're fine with the fact that she gets dressed as a Barbie doll, because you love imagining that, you love the fantasy, like, I'm not going to stop you. Go. Like, watch her dramas, love her dramas, love her. But she is not an actress for me because of that. Because I never see a character behind the facade. I always see her in every role. So there we are. I'm in trouble too.
Well, I like her fine. It depends on the role. But I was thinking about her in Loving Contract, which Melanie and I were the only two people who liked that drama, apparently. But she's actually very good in it.
One of my first K-dramas was What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. So I think she just always have a place in my heart for the way that she can do that kind of broad comedy. And, how she would just, the male lead would her boss would turn his back, and then she would have this very comical, sarcastic look to her face. I mean, I ate it up. So, so I've liked her for a long time, but that I just do have to acknowledge the Japanese actress just gives so much more nuance, right? I mean, she just gives that much more. Yes, the writing is better for some of the scenes, but also she just gives extra layers that aren't there in the K-drama.
Yeah. Well, and if everyone were as big a curmudgeon as me and did not like Park Min-young, she would not be on screen. She obviously has a fan following. She obviously can sell a drama.
I mean, she's come back from a scandal, right? So, like, kudos to her, because not everybody can do that.
And I want to be fair to her because she did try to do a couple of dramas that were out of her typical persona, and they were not successful. And people hated them. You should see the reviews on MDL for Loving Contract. It's really
I mean, I really enjoyed it.
I did too, but they're terrible reviews. And so,
and I was sitting here going, did I actually watch that? And I did.
You did.
I know. I did not like it.
We know. but I actually really liked her in it. I thought she brought a vulnerability to that character.
Yeah, like a brittleness. Yeah.
Exactly. Almost like a fragile, like she's about to break any minute, which worked really well in that role. And I thought she had good chemistry with
what's his face? Yeah.
Go Kyung Pyo. Go Kyung Pyo. That's it. And then, so, but you
another
know,
actor
but the public,
I don't love.
yeah, I know. So
but-
that wasn't going to be your drama. But the thing is,
No, exactly.
but I want to be fair to her because I think she gave it a shot in 2 dramas in a row, and they both flopped. And she just said, "Well, I got to eat," and she went back to her bread and butter, which she's effective in. I mean, I didn't particularly love her in Marry My Husband. Well, so how do I put it? No, but actually, the first time I watched Marry My Husband, the Korean version, I liked her fine in it. You know, like I wasn't critical of her performance. I didn't get critical of her performance until I saw Koshiba Fuka kill it, and then
when
I went,
saw it better.
This is
when
what
you saw it could be
been.
better.
Yeah, it could have been better. It could have been a lot better.
Well, and I usually will watch a drama twice if we're going to talk about it. And after seeing Marry My Husband Japan, I could not bear to go back.
Oh God, no! I could not watch it again. I'm sorry. Like it started to drag.
I did, and it didn't measure up.
I could barely get through it one full time, to be honest. Like after watching most of Marry My Husband Japan, and I tried to go back and watch the Korean version. After a certain point, it just started to drag so much. I was like, "What are these people doing here? Who are these characters? What's going on? What happened to the plot? Why are we doing this? What's happening?"
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what is
one of the
Boa
main
doing here?
Exactly. I love Boa, but what are you doing here, Boa?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And that's no shade on Boa.
No, Boa's great, but why are you here, Boa?
Yeah.
I think one of the main reasons that we're having this podcast and why we came back is because for those, I don't think the international audiences have necessarily clued in to Marry My Husband Japan. I mean, I've heard a little bit of rumblings, but it's not, I don't know, it's just not been an overwhelming presence online. I've seen a few people talk about it, but not the same way when Marry My Husband, the K-drama came out.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think we're really wanting to highlight, like, both of them, at least in the US, are on Amazon Prime, and it's really worth seeking out the J-drama, even if you didn't like the K-drama.
Yes, actually, I feel like especially.
Believe us when we tell you. And not only that, it's only 10 episodes. Come on.
It's so fast. And the first 8 episodes, I swear to God, went like that for me. Like.
I was sitting in front of my TV thinking, I have to go to bed. I can't go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I have to keep watching.
And I was wary because I thought, oh yeah, well, remake. What am I going to do? And then I was just like, oh my God, I love this.
Can't stop watching.
Love this so much.
We knew you would love it. We knew you would love it.
It is really bingeable because I don't like binging usually. It gives me a headache, and it's like I'm not into watching 4 episodes in a day, but I couldn't stop it either. Like I think I did watch like 4 episodes a day while it was on. And but and also Mel, I hear what you're saying about that it doesn't have the recognition of the Korean version. However, by Japanese drama standards of international visibility, this thing was like a massive screaming hit because Japanese dramas just don't have the international presence that Korean dramas have. But this year has been a breakthrough year, in my opinion, in terms of and actually Satoh Takeru is in the 2 biggest hits in Japan this year, which was Marry My Husband Japan and Glass Heart, which he
I need to watch that. I've heard good things.
Oh, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard good things.
It's so much fun.
And not just from you all. I've heard a lot other people, like here, people who live in Japan, Japanese people have told me, like so many people have been like, oh, this is good. This is good.
So Faye, since you're in Japan, what has been the reception of Marry My Husband Japan? I mean, compared to other J-dramas, like what, I mean, it's hard for us to kind of get how popular it is there.
So actually I was talking about this with Alisa actually for me it was afternoon, but so I haven't talked to a whole lot of people about it, but I do have some students who I've talked to about it and they loved it. Like I've had female and male students, a couple of male students also tell me they like it. People are just really like engrossed by it, and the Japanese people that I've talked to who haven't watched it yet, I told them about it and they're like, oh, that sounds really good, let me watch this. Like they're very interested in it. It's like quite popular here. It's #1 in Japan. It's like we said, Satoh Takeru is so popular, so famous. Like
if you look at my drama list, both dramas have an 8.5 rating. That never happens with Japanese dramas. Like all Japanese dramas hover at 7.8, no matter how good they may be.
Oh no.
And because like it's and even the ones that I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, 7.8. I mean,
oh
just
my God, that's so
not
interesting.
popular. But
so
this one, like I said, and Glass Heart also.
Mm.
So I think it definitely is saying something about because Netflix, I couldn't find the article, but I need to dig it up. But the Hollywood Reporter, I think it was an American media outlet, wrote about how much Netflix has been investing in Japan and to open up the market. And I'm assuming it's not just Netflix. I mean, Studio Dragon obviously must have too, but it just it's taken years for them to cultivate the relationships to finally get production going where they're making it internationally available. And it's this year was when it really showed that.
I mean, it definitely feels like my Netflix algorithm, which granted I have watched some J dramas, but I feel like more and more of them are being shown to me on Netflix. That's as good. You would love this.
And Prime has a lot. Prime
has so much actually. Prime has even more.
And they're terrible about promoting their stuff, but if you're looking for them,
Prime has a lot of stuff.
I haven't seen much on Prime here in Canada, but again, I watch Netflix more than Prime.
Okay. Well,
but
first of all, Prime is hard to find things in list. Like even when you search for them, sometimes it can be hard.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But really, I did notice the uptick in J dramas on Netflix, and not only 2025 dramas, but now they're pulling like old dramas,
classics. I love that. I love that.
Netflix made a deal with Fuji TV, which is one of the broadcasters in Japan, to show their back catalog.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of dramas that weren't available are now showing.
They also have a fair number of TBS dramas as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So like it's been an interesting moment. Like I
also feel like there's this fusion, and this drama is an example of it, of Korean and Japanese.
Yes.
Last year we had this drama, I Love You, I Like Your Eye on Your Face, where you had a Japanese female lead, and then you had this Korean male lead, and so she could read everybody else's mind, but since his mind was in Korean, she couldn't read his mind. So it had a fantastical element in the same way that this did. And it was so charming because it kind of showed to me, okay, this is kind of the lens that they're viewing like these adorable puppy Korean male leads, I guess. I don't know. It just was charming, though. It was charming kind of seeing this crossover. And so, I hope we see more of this.
You definitely will.
There's a big one coming soon, starring Oguri Shun and Han Hyo-ju. And Oguri Shun played the second male lead in
and Boys Over Flower,
Hana Yori
Japanese
the Japanese version. And then and we know who Han Hyo-ju is, but she was in Moving and Happiness, and she's been in a lot of things. She's a great actress and very beautiful.
Oguri Shun has also been in a lot of things,
and he's been in so much. Just that the international audience would mostly know him from but the huge he's been around forever, and so that's coming out soon, and it looks good. And so I think you're definitely, and like when Satoh Takeru executive produced Glass Heart, he said explicitly that he wanted Japan to be on the same level as Korea with the international audience. And so so it's interesting. And it's been great because like literally my top 5 dramas of this year are all Japanese, which is crazy. I didn't expect that at all. Including obviously Marry My Husband Japan is on the list. And so it's great.
Yeah, see, I'm finding for me this is kind of a fallow year K-drama wise.
Yes.
There are dramas that a lot of people are loving, but they're kind of not my thing. But then what did I watch? The Hotspot J-drama. I've watched Marry My Husband Japan. They're probably 2 of my faves from this year. So I'm in the same boat where my faves are now not from Korea.
Right. And it's nice to have some variety, I think. It's like because the storytelling in Japan is so different and the themes that come up are so different. And it's just it's refreshing. It's a refreshing change from because they don't really do idealized love. I mean, even though the love affair in Marry My Husband Japan is idealized, right? But it isn't, you know what I mean? Like
they did do it, I think, before. Like, and there are some you can find that they do still do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of the more recent stuff, though, they do try to give you a more realistic portrayal.
Yeah, more flawed. The protagonists are more flawed, you
Yes.
know, and
it's not just fairy
it's a different
tale.
vibe.
No,
Right, it's
no. It's not
no.
like everything is like beautifully glossed over and like perfect.
But it's very, but it can be really poignant because like Marry My Husband Japan, I found so much of it poignant. I mean, when Wataru does his monologue, and I cried during that monologue, which I was not expecting a Marry My Husband adaptation to make me cry. it's so beautifully written,
so
and
deep.
delivered.
Like,
Yeah,
they really go into it. I was like, I can relate to it so much. I was like, oh my God.
Well,
like,
that's it. And if we're talking about things being aspirational,
right.
like I have no connection to anything that was going on in Marry My Husband Korean.
No.
Like this life that she marries into that is fabulously wealthy and fabulously perfect. I was just like, I have no clue. But to listen to this wealthy businessman say, I want to go, to LA to see a baseball game, and I want to go do these very small things. And I was like, well, if I aspire to marry a rich man, this is the one I want.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because I get where he's coming from.
I'm in LA, by the way, and I live really close to Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, there's so many Japanese people go there.
Yeah.
So many Japanese people go there.
Anyway, so that was funny to me.
I will say the one thing that I end up a little flummoxed because my J-drama watching has been very small until the last year. And I really feel that there's a lot culturally that I'm not sure I'm understanding.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remind myself that I've been watching K-dramas since 2010-ish. And that was a long time to learn a lot of things that don't surprise me anymore. So I am kind of like the foreigner going, hey, what? Hey, what? Hey, what? But there's a lot of learning for me to do, which I love.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Faith, were there particular nuances about Japanese culture that you noticed that they included in the adaptation for the J-drama?
So actually, that's another thing that I kind of talked with Alisa yesterday. But just the way everyone, like just how everyone reacts to things, like you were mentioning before, it's a lot more subtle than the Korean version. I remember when I went back and watched the Korean version, I was so surprised at how Jin Won was just like slapping Ming Hwan like so much, like just like slap, like so aggressively slapping him in a public place where everyone could see. I was like, I could never imagine that happening in a J-drama. I was like, that's like, I was like, whoa, like even me, I was like shocked. I was like, whoa, what? Like it's like I understand why she did it, but I was just like, whoa, I would never see that.
I have to read. You just reminded me. I wrote this down. So the Studio Dragon person who produced the Marry My Husband Japan, she said that during the script meeting, the Japanese writer showed her a scene from another work where the husband, his mistress, and his wife were all calmly having tea together and talking. Quote, we were so surprised and asked why the wife didn't slap the mistress, but they said that's the Japanese way. And we incorporated that kind of refined emotion into the show. And yeah.
Hand me my kimchi and my glass of water.
Right.
It's a very Korean, like, kind of trope. Like in Japanese, I would never expect that in a Japanese drama. Like I would never, like I just feel like everything in the Korean version is just dialed up to 11, whereas like in the Japanese version, it's just way more subtle. It's like, okay, yes, I'm angry, but it's like kind of like a more like quiet anger that's like gonna build up to something. Whereas like the Korean version is like, okay, it's time to just get out now.
And the one person who is kind of overtly angry, especially as the story goes on, is Reina, and she's unhinged.
And she's she's seen as like, whoa, like too much, like it's just way too much, right?
Like she's out of control. So it is really interesting.
One scene that I love that was new for the J-drama that was absolutely delicious because normally everything is dialed so down was Kateru's takedown of her when she tries to make it look like they're kissing when they're
Oh,
driving
yeah,
back from
yeah,
farm from
yeah.
the Oh my God.
And then she says, I kept practicing because I wanted to say it. It was a kuzuyaro. Something
Kuzuyaro,
like that.
yeah.
Which
great.
is,
It's
I
like
think
when he
they
amped it up,
translated
it
it
had
as
some more
asshole.
impact.
Yeah,
you
pretty
know,
much, you
scumbag,
bastard, you
right?
asshole, you scumbag,
Yeah,
scum.
yeah, yeah.
Kuzu is like scum. Yeah.
It was so great. I loved
But
it.
he has her number from the beginning.
Yes.
Like even when she does the thing with the stairs and the candy
the
store.
candy.
He knows.
Well, when he
knows.
tells her off in the car is another moment of like overt emotion that I think lands heavier because he's been so low key for most of the drama, and then he went off on her in the car. I was like,
that's very
awesome.
Japanese drama. That's very Japanese drama.
Yeah.
It's like you're quiet, subtle, and then all of a sudden, like comes out of nowhere. Yeah. That's very Japanese drama. It's a build up to it, like a lot of times.
Yeah.
It has much more impact because, like you say, the K-drama is at 11 all the time, so it's hard to go up from that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry, that type of drama works in Korea. I mean, that's why we have Penthouse.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Penthouse.
Oh
yeah.
I like Penthouse.
Yeah.
It got me.
But those are the kinds of dramas that are like dialed to 11 all the time. And it is this world of fabulous wealthy people and fabulous clothing and and it works for some people. It occasionally works for me.
I think also in Korean dramas, the antagonist tends to be an outside villain. Like and villain, it isn't always villain like in a stereotypical way, but generally it's like you have an outside antagonist. Whereas in Japanese dramas, the antagonist is yourself to some extent, you know what I mean? Like you're your own worst enemy. And so the conflicts are really different. There are a lot
of internal conflicts. Yeah.
A lot of internal conflict. Yeah. It isn't so much about defeating an outside enemy. So yeah. And it is really, I mean, when you think about the history of these two countries and how intertwined they are in some ways, it's really interesting that it's still so different.
It's so different.
Because we were talking about this last night, that in the US, unfortunately, people think of Asians as this amorphous blob.
Same in Canada.
Right. And it's a racist bullshit, excuse me. And but when if you're paying attention, you start to realize, like even these two countries where, I mean, Japan actually colonized Korea for 50 years, you know, and they even today still have like a fraught relationship but a close relationship at the same time. But but it's still very, very different.
It's so different. I remember when I was explaining the plot to some Japanese people who hadn't seen it yet, and they were like, "Oh, it sounds like a K-drama." Like they could tell just like by the plot, they can tell it's very over the top. It's not like, well, she already dies in like the first 20 minutes or 15 minutes of the show. And they're like, oh, it's a K-drama. Like they already kind of know like, okay, this is different from what we do.
Well, but it was interesting. Alisa passed around a link to an article about the making of the J-drama, and that the lead actors were very excited to work with a Korean company and whatever. And I think, I mean, obviously, I don't remember if the original webcomic was Korean, but I think the original source material was also popular in Japan. But I think they were. I mean, there's must be a lot of crossover of people watching both, and so they were excited to work with some Korean drama makers. So I like I said, I hope more fusion dramas like this kind of happen, where there's a partnership and we get a little bit of a flavor of both, right?
I love it.
I love it.
And also
I love it so much.
And more investment in just J-dramas, period.
Yes. More J-dramas. People watch more.
With higher production values.
Yes, they do need that.
Sitting there going, it looks like a 90s sitcom. Why am I watching
that?
This?
Was for a long time. It did for a long time.
I know. And so it's, I'm looking forward to that too. Just more money being put into it.
Because I know K-dramas even here are so popular, especially with younger people, and also, of course, middle-aged women. They're very popular here. They love K-dramas here. And honestly, most of the time when there's like a J-drama remake of like a popular K-drama, even Japanese people who love K-dramas will be like, oh, it's not as good as the original though. It's not as good as the original though. So to have this where it is actually better is a big step.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
Faith, do people watch dubbed versions of K-dramas or do they watch with subtitles?
So I think it depends on the person. But I think from what I've seen on TV, a lot of times it'll be subtitled usually. But I also have seen a few where they're dubbed. I think it depends, like, yeah, what the station is, like what drama it is. But yeah, when I was at a nail salon, actually, they were playing "Marry My Husband." Actually, like, they had a DVD of it, and they were doing it with subtitles. Actually, so
okay, they had a DVD.
Yeah,
so
they had a
that's another
DVD, so
thing
they bought it. Yes,
no, but it's also like, yeah, like physical media is still a thing over there.
Yeah,
which
they
I
had a
find really
DVD
interesting
playing
too.
this K-drama, and I was like, oh my god, you guys know this, and like they had it
Yeah.
on TV.
I mean,
screen and
yeah,
everything.
because Netflix here is releasing English dubbed of some of the K-dramas.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I don't get it. I want to hear the original voices.
I don't like to listen to the dubs.
But I
usually.
mean, I guess other people want to be listening and not necessarily watching every moment.
I get that.
You know,
I mean,
get
to
that.
be fair, like,
Yeah.
also people have dyslexia.
Yeah,
people have
yeah,
no literacy.
that's fair. If people need it, I
Or
think they
don't
should
read
use it.
fast.
That's
you know,
fair.
like,
That's fair.
yeah, there's a lot of reasons why
Yeah.
somebody might use a dub. I don't use them, but I mean,
yeah.
They
That's true.
should exist. We should have
Yes.
both for
Yes.
accessibility.
you know,
Yes.
yeah, like I see people online constantly saying, "Is there a Hindi dub? Is there a Hindi dub?" And I would say, yeah, because first of all, they have a dubbing culture in India, and second of all, like people don't have, you know, the literacy necessarily to read quickly. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, do we have final thoughts about? So I'm gonna start off with being a total shallow fangirl, and oh my God, Satoh Takeru, I went on a rampage of his stuff.
You're not alone.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay, which
fan
ones?
is-
Which ones?
Oh, all the Rurouni Kenshin
Oh,
films.
okay.
First Love I had seen already, and then An Incurable Case of Love, and then a film called If Cats Disappeared from the
Ooh.
World.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
And there's even somebody put his first stage play on YouTube, and it's Romeo and Juliet, and he's playing, and he's really young, like I don't even think he's 20 yet or something. So, and you don't hear the voices, but it's still really cool to see him. And the woman he's acting with is the lead in Pretty Proofreader, which was another popular show. But yeah, man, like I said, he's just so impressive.
Yeah.
He's just like the range, and yeah.
I should be sending Alisa a gift basket for, I think, turning me on to this drama and him, right? Because I'm in the middle of, as I'm putting it, savoring Glass Heart, because I'm just kind of like, there's so much in each episode. I haven't just binged to finish it, but knowing there's so many, there's more J dramas to explore. There's action films that my husband might be willing to sit and watch with us. Like, it's exciting to find someone who's so talented, as you say, has such screen presence. And I just love it. I love it. I love what he did in this role. And it was such a joy to watch this drama, even though it's like, it doesn't matter that it's a familiar story and you think you know what the beats are going to be. It was the changes that they made were so interesting. And I really loved it. And so if this hasn't been enough of a almost 2-hour commercial for you to watch it, go watch it.
Go watch
the drama.
Yeah, and I'm going down the rabbit hole too, because he's just so good. Yeah. And I rarely watch dramas more than once. I will be watching this one at least one more time.
Yeah, I think I might watch it again, honestly.
Just, I don't know what I've missed, so I want to be able to go back to it. And it just, like, I cannot emphasize what the others have said, that people really need to watch this drama.
Yes. Even if you got totally spoiled by the podcast, but you should still watch it.
No, you should still watch it. It's still going to be good.
No, actually, yes, it'll still be really good, and you'll still really
it will.
You can't convey like the scenes, the acting, as well as like actually watching it with, right?
Totally.
Faith, our lead actress, is there another drama or a movie that you would recommend that we seek out for her?
Yes, because I loved her.
To be honest, This is the first thing I've seen her in, actually.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can't give you any recommendations, unfortunately, but I'm sure like anything she's in, I'm sure would be good if you look up her.
What is your favorite Kateru Sato's movie or drama? Which one is your favorite?
So actually recently, I'm trying to look it up right now. Hold on. Just give me a second. I forgot the exact title, but I watched it, I think, like last year or the year before last. Hold on. So he was in a drama, actually. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry, television. Here we go. So it's called Why Didn't I Tell You a Million Times in English. So actually it's him and the main actress from Hanyo Dango, actually, Inoue Mao, are together as like a couple. And actually it's actually really good. He's really good in that. So yeah, it's actually about that he ends up dying actually and becomes a ghost. It's
okay, I'll roll with it. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah. It's interesting.
Back to the person you love.
But he comes back and like he finds ways to communicate through it. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I recommend it. I think both of them are really good actors. They actually also have a Korean character in this show as well, who's like a doctor. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So for Koshiba Fuka, even though she's not a star of it, but she's in Fermat's Cuisine, which is a Netflix.
I was just looking at that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The actress who played Reina is in that too.
Ooh, that's so interesting.
Wow. That's right. She is. I totally forgot. She's the girlfriend.
That's in my cues.
She is able to blend. She is able to blend in like a chameleon. Like I literally did not even recognize her when I saw her. I was like, oh wow, who's this? And I was like, oh wow, I've already seen her. Like she's really good.
I would have to say both actresses that played the evil best friend standouts in both dramas.
Yes, they are standouts. Yeah, and like I've read articles in Japanese about the Reina character, like her acting, and everyone is praising her acting. They're like, oh, she's so great, she's stand out, she's like really just captivated everybody. Like, you know, like she definitely
she had
really
my
popular.
jaw on the floor.
Yes.
She really did.
She sold it. Like I've seen that girl. Okay, I've seen her before.
The other thing I've seen Koshiba Fuka in, though I can't necessarily recommend it, but she's fine. It's more like I didn't really love the writing, but it's a remake of the Korean drama She Was Pretty.
Okay.
So,
I haven't seen that one, but
yeah. And so she's adorable, but like the writing was kind of mediocre. But anyway,
she was pretty.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
And now I'm going to upset people who love the drama.
Oh no! I don't think that many people love that.
Love your dramas. Love your dramas. Every drama has its audience.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for today. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and
especially Faith for joining us from Japan. It was valuable.
It's so
I enjoyed
early
it so
where
much.
you are.
It's a bit early, but it was great. It was worth it. I love talking about this drama. I'm like, I need to talk to people about this. This is such a great drama, and thank you for letting me on.
Yes.
It's nice to just compare like different versions. Like I've always been interested in that.
Yeah. And thank you for everybody who's going to tune in after we disappeared for so long. So I appreciate that. And that's it. So take care, folks. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.